Alright, hello everybody out there in YouTube. I'm going to do a quick update. I was telling you about when I bought this Harbor Freight welding cart. I was getting a little mini inverter arc welder, the mini MMA 250. This little thing, it had, you know, as it says, you know, you can hit 250 amp out of it. Now, with all that being said, I'm not going to go through the math on this about welders and guys that weld out here and guys that just need welders for little jobs like me, where a MIG welder just quite don't cut it and you need a stick. I was telling you I was doing a big job, which I did. I don't know if I put the last video up. This old cast iron stove. This top is 3 sections, and the center section, the firebox in here, had 3 big cracks in it. 2 of them were probably about 3 to 4 inches long. I'd say every bit of 4 inches long to 5 inches long, and the center one was around 7 inches long. And you know, when you weld cast iron, you got to heat it up. This is a coal burner. So when you weld cast iron, you got to heat it up, get it hot, keep it hot while you're welding, weld little bits at a time. And, you know, everybody's saying, hey, you know, you probably need to get a real welder or get somebody to do this for you, you know, because most of this fire pot was a 1/2 inch thick to 1 inch thick in ridges. It's ridged, it has ridges. And let me tell you, this little mini welder really surprised me. And, you know, I've seen a lot of videos on welders, and this is for cast, it's a cast rod. This is an 1/8 inch cast rod, too. And it really surprised me. Regular steel rods and stuff, you know, the small 6013, you know, hey, it'll eat right through these. Turn them at around, you turn this thing to about 80, set it on about 80, you're good to go. These right here, the 6011s, which are 1/8 inch rod. Hey, I think I had it set at around 100 to 110 or so, 100, you know, on this little inverter welder. And it eat right through them. I did not have one problem with good penetration and everything. And back to the cast, I'm using an 1/8 inch rod, and I was melting through some of that 1/2 inch because I thought I was holding it in place to get good thinking it, you know, wasn't gonna get good penetration, and it was. I mean, it was like butter. So this little mini welder, I got it off eBay. It came with the lead and the ground and the ends on it, which I'm going to upgrade these. I don't like this little end. It's really cheesy. I mean, it is what it is. If you're like me, if you're only going to use it every now and then, you're good. And that's me. But I'm going to upgrade and get a better end, because that don't really bite down on the rod, in my opinion, good enough, with a good enough, you know, clamp down good. So I wanted that and the ground to show you this. It's just a damn booster cable. So I'm definitely buying a ground and getting rid of this. Other than that, it did excellent. It did just fine. I was greatly amazed in this little thing. Let's see the front of it there, where your leads hook up. And the side of it, this, you know, there you go. Get a better look at it, what it says. This little thing worked phenomenal. I never had a shutdown, and I was out here because, you know, I can only weld about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch at a time when I was doing the 3 cracks I had in that center cast. I was probably out here an hour and a half welding that up, you know, yeah. I went in, I done my initial fill, and then come back and lapped over with the nickel rod, and I did not have one issue with getting good penetration on, and a good, I mean, I had real good welding. After I got done, I actually buried it. I was able to, what do I got, a line holding me up here or something? I sure do. And bear with me. Get this line out from under here. Oh, there we go. I had no problem when I got done. Like I said, that's three sections. You got a top, the center, which is firebox, and the bottom is your ash pan. And when I got done, I had sand. I had a big metal pan that I filled up with play sand, stuck it in my smoke pit, and it sat in there for over an hour and a half, hour the whole time, hour and a half that I was out here welding on 450 degrees. And actually 475, I think it was. And as soon as I got done, I poured that sand all over, covered all my welds, and let it sit. And come back about 4 hours later, it was still warm, so I just let it sit. And then that night, I pulled it outside, lit a fire in it, started out low, didn't want to just fire it off real hot. Started out low. Didn't hear no cracking, no popping. Then I started adding a little to it after about an hour. I added a little more. I stoked it on up. I wanted to get this thing up to where, what it would normally be running if you had it in your home or had it going. I got the good heat going on it. It burned all night. I let it burn all night. They never heard, and I sat out here with it for over 4 hours. After getting it going, I sat out here another 2.5, 3 hours with it. And not one time did I hear any popping or anything. So I know my weld was good, got good penetration. It even looked good. On top of that, it didn't look bad at all. And you could tell it got good penetration, even though I had some surface rust around and I couldn't get into some of the grooves good enough to actually clean it out. That rod and that little welder went right in, and I did not have one issue with this little bitty mini welder. So that's what I was doing it on, the little mini inverter MMA 250. That's what I'm doing the video on, just to let you know, if anybody sees these online, they got a little fan in the back, everything, cooling fans, all that. If anybody, I looked at a bunch of them, and this one here, like I said, some of them were the same price and did not even come with your leads. You had to buy the cable separate. So this one here, I think it was $68, and then my shipping, to the door. No, I had free shipping actually. I think it had free shipping. So to the door, and hey, this little thing worked great. And I just used it a few minutes ago. That's what reminded me I needed to do the little video on it because I told everybody I would. I welded up a cast iron grate in one of my smoke pits, and just fine, not a problem. But anyway, that's it. The little MMA 250 inverter arc welder. Just want to do a little video on it, let everybody know this one here, this particular one. Let's say 250 amp. Hey, go figure. But it did the job. It done a big job. Not just a little, 3/8 or 1/4 inch cast iron stuff. It welded 1/2 inch to almost 3/4. The ridges are almost an inch thick, and the rest of it in between the ridges is 1/2 inch. It welded that thing up without a problem. It penetrated just fine. So just to let you know, that little thing will do the job. I've seen a lot of others that said, hey, welding the cast was just wasn't going to do it. A lot of them were saying you couldn't use an 1/8 inch rod in them. This little thing has not had a problem with 1/8 inch rod, even on steel. I've used it on steel, some steel that was 1/2 inch, some 5/8 steel actually. Hey, not one problem, welded just fine. So if anybody's interested in getting one of these, they come with a little strap too. It's like a little portable deal where you can carry it with you or whatever. But me, unless I'm just something right here on the property. But that little thing, out of all the other ones I've seen, that little thing right there was the only one that said it was 250 amp. But that's the only one that I could not find a video on, that people had videos on others that would not do this type of job welding cast that thick. So, and this little booger did it. So there you go, a little mini MMA 250 inverter welder. Thanks for looking.